Hi, this is Diana, and I am the founder and president of a group called MA Number 4 Trump, and we still 100% support President Trump. Mm-hmm. However, we are making known that we do not want these red flag laws. Massachusetts already has that.
Good.
So we are pushing. Last night I did my weekly live stream and telling people to send letters to the White House, emails from the NRA, emails from Goal, emails from anybody to tweet President Trump, to tweet the administration. We still support him, but we have to support him this way because we have to start doing some of the heavy lifting and letting people know that, no, we are drawing the line. We are not supporting red flag laws. Absolutely not.
That's great. Thanks for doing that, Diana. Appreciate it. Hopefully that will have an impact on him when he sees hardcore supporters saying, please don't do this. Don't do this. This is not the right way to go. Maybe that'll have an effect on him. I think if he sees that his supporters, his base is upset about this, maybe that changes his mind. We'll see.
I think there's a really good chance of it, but he's got to hear from you, today. And,
today
on social media. Certainly, Twitter is a good place for that sort of outlet today. I would say, making sure that, and again, I think you can be very respectful and be a person who's honest about, hey,
supporters will be respectful.
Of course. But I mean, it's just like, look, we love you, man, but like not this.
Right.
You can't do this. And I don't think it's a core issue of his where he would see this as like a massive deal. Well, I don't want crazy people to have guns. I think we talked about this yesterday. It's a thing that feels okay. It feels sensible to be able to take guns away from a person that everyone around him says is a bad person. I mean, it feels okay.
And it feels okay. And the other thing that feels okay are background checks. And he's saying that background checks are a good idea. Well, yeah, that's why we have them.
Yeah, we do have them.
That's why we do them almost universally. The only time you don't get a background check is if I sell a gun to you. And we have a private transaction between the two of us. And I say, hey, I've got this gun, which I don't anymore because I don't know what happened to them. They're completely gone. I forget where they went.
They're irresponsible, Pat.
Yeah, I know, but somebody sold them.
It's been years now.
But it's been years, and I've just forgotten. But if I had them still and I wanted to sell them to you, there's no way I can do a background. You can't do a background check unless we go to a dealer and have you call in and do a background check.
Look, there is
and you could do that because if I sell you a gun and it's proven later that you're not eligible to that, then I'm liable for that. And that's already the law. So if there is risk, if you sell somebody like a private transaction between two people, and that person that buys the gun from somebody isn't eligible to own guns, then the seller can be held accountable as well.
Yeah, look, and there are...
So you take a risk not getting the background check.
I think it was I want to say it was the church shooting that happened a couple of years ago. And the shooter, I think it was that one. Was that I'm getting the name. Is it Dylan Roof? Is who I'm thinking of. Anyway, I think it was one of these shooting situations where the guy actually did violate. He should not have been able to purchase the gun. Had the background check. It went for 3 days, and the government was like, "Well, I don't know. We can't really make a decision." And they were able to buy the gun and wound up using it in a mass shooting. And so one of the arguments being made is we need to extend that window, right? So that the government can now take a couple weeks to decide whether you're able to execute your constitutional right. Look, that needs to be an instant system or nothing. I mean, 3 days is stretching it.
Yeah, it is.
90% of them, I think, go through in almost instantly, but there are that 10% that...
Yeah, you got to come back.
Yeah, and so, 2 weeks?
Ridiculous.
You're telling me this...
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, come on, what year is it?
Right.
What freaking year is it? It's 2019. You can't do a background check in less than 3 days? That's ridiculous.
It's asinine. Dave in New York, you're on the Glenn Beck program with Pat and Stu. Hi.
Hey, how are you? I'm just calling in to get my opinion out there and some of my close friends and family that we live up here in New York. We already see where the gun control machine goes, and we couldn't in good conscience vote for Donald Trump or any other candidate that pushes gun control and wants to defraud U.S. citizens of their rights. Like I said, we already live under it. We voted for Donald Trump because he promised to support our Second Amendment rights, because he promised that he was going to try to protect us. And we were all hoping that federal legislation would go through, some Supreme Court justices would be in, which he has done, and hoping that maybe some unconstitutional laws that exist up here in New York would be reversed. And seems that it's going the other way. That's very troubling for us up here.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Dave. AJ in Pennsylvania, you're on the Blaze, or the Glenn Beck program.
Hey.
Also on the Blaze.
Hey, well.
You're on both, yes. Hey, how's it going?
Is this the Blaze? Are you sure?
Yes.
We think, for the moment, yes.
Hey, guys. So I'm a really big Trump supporter, big gun guy. And the problem is, if he does this, who else do we have left? Obviously, the other side and their candidates are completely nuts. So that they're not an option. But with these red flag laws that they're talking about, where anybody can just say, hey, I think that person's crazy and you should take their guns, that is the beginning of our infringements on our Fourth Amendment rights of unreasonable search and seizure. And it's a slippery slope, and I think it's just going to spiral out of control.
Yeah, no, I think it's true. And that's a great point. Dana writes about this as well. This is what Dana Lash writes in The Federalist. There's nuance to be had here for sure, but realize that it is an abrogation of due process to invert the order of innocent until proven guilty to somewhat guilty until proven innocent. The question isn't whether these laws do this. The question is whether you feel comfortable giving up a cornerstone of our republic for a safety dependent upon enforcement by a government that has failed at this before. And it's, fails at everything else too.
Yeah.
It's
so
true.
You're talking about the Second Amendment. You're talking about the Fourth Amendment. You're talking about the Fifth Amendment. Parts of the Sixth, the Eighth. When does it end? When does it end?